Okay, that was the first little time. Then he went, Donald Trump, yeah, Donald Trump. I love Donald Trump.
The mental decline of a U.S. president is nothing new. Nixon was losing it before being forced out, and Reagan was suffering from early onset dementia while in office. But compared to Trump, they were in the minor leagues.
Will we be doing... Look, he can't campaign. He can't campaign. He can't speak. So we call it migrant crime. I came up with that name because I come up with a lot of good names. You see Maduro, Venezuela, it's unbelievable. We talk, this is a positive swamping. I was going to the border, doing a show, Sean Hannity, good man Sean Hannity. Gavin Newsom, the new scum, the governor of California, will demolish the deep state. We will expel the wall-mongers.
Donald J. Trump is a malignant sociopath, meaning he's incapable of caring for anyone but himself. And that's how he's always been. But lately, Trump's brain has become that egg in that anti-drug commercial.
This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
And without anyone in his party willing to point out that he's literally losing touch with reality, he's free to act out against anyone who dares to confront him. And I have the most recent examples that have responsible people wondering if he can make it through the year, much less the next 44 months. But first, please subscribe to Really American on YouTube. It doesn't cost a dime, and it allows us to reach millions of people around the world with this message.
What the f is wrong with you?
So how crazy is man titties? Well, dozens of psychiatrists have stated for the record his mental decline is rapid and a dangerous trait for someone with a driver's license, much less access to thousands of nuclear missiles.
The dangerous case of Donald Trump. 27 psychiatrists and mental health experts assess a president. Edited by Bandy Lee, MD, a psychiatrist. He cannot be contained because he is psychologically off the chain. With each passing week, he displays the classic symptoms of medium-grade mania in more disturbing forms: inflated self-esteem, sleeplessness, impulsivity, aggression, and a compulsion to offer advice on subjects he knows nothing about. His speech patterns are like something straight out of a psychiatric textbook. Manics display something called flight of ideas. It's a formal thought disorder in which ideas tumble forth through a disordered chain of associations. One word sparks another, which sparks another, and they're off to the races. As one trained psychiatrist said to me, compare Donald Trump's speaking patterns to a Robin Williams monologue, but with insults instead of jokes.
So as we watch the world reflect on Trump's 100 days of insanity, where he has sent the U.S. economy spinning toward a recession or worse, while threatening protesters and American citizens with deportations, while arresting judges and threatening to arrest members of the Supreme Court, the entire world wonders how much worse things might become. Here's Trump confusing Harlem and Harvard, and like most sociopaths wandering around inside their own heads, he either doubles down on the insanity or acts out. First, watch him double down on his own confusion.
Mr. President, thank you for your time. It's interesting that you brought up Harvard, because when people think about Harvard, what they're basically talking about is they're asking, what do you say to those who view your actions as an attack on academic freedom rather than a defense of fairness? What do you say to that?
Well, I say this. We had riots in Harlem, in Harlem, and frankly, if you look at what's gone on, and people from Harlem went up and they protested, Stephen, and they protested very strongly against Harvard. They happened to be on my side. You know, I got a very high black vote. You know that. Very, very high black vote. It was a very great compliment to me. I did criminal justice reform. I did opportunity zones for one of the greatest economic deals ever for the black and Hispanic community. I got tremendous. They agree with what I'm doing with respect to Harvard. Harvard gets 4 or 5.
Now contrast that with this ABC reporter who calls Trump out on the obviously photoshopped image of this man who was deported for being MS-13 even with zero proof or criminal record.
We have to get him out, and we're doing it. By law. And you'll pick out one man, but even the man that you picked out, he said he wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute.
Well, wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshopped. So let me
That was Photoshopped. Terry, you can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. But I picked you. Terry, Hey, but you're not being very nice.
Now, Freud and thousands of other mental health professionals have talked about people like Trump for years. They look at a man whose ego can only be satiated by doing and saying horrible things about women, as well as anyone who dares stop him.
I'm a psychoanalyst in Washington, D.C. Women for him are functions. They're accessories. They exist not just to please him, but they exist to make him look good.
How come the deeply troubled women?
Yes.
You know, deeply troubled.
Right.
They're always the best in bed.
I can't believe it.
I view a person who's flat-chested is very hard to be a 10.
One of the things that's striking about him was that he had to compensate at a very early age for the fact that his mother wasn't around. He was 2 years old when his mother just disappeared from his life, and I really think he never got over having maternal deprivation.
Women come up to me, gorgeous actresses, well-known actresses, and they look at me and they say, I had no idea how handsome you were. You are really beautiful. What happens is they come at you in droves.
Right.
And then you kill them.
So he reverses the fear by flipping it into getting other people to be afraid of him so he's not afraid.
So now the question is, what's next? Is there anyone in the Republican Party or the courts who will stand up to this burgeoning army of weak little incels?
America is for Americans and Americans only.
Tens of millions of Americans suspect this election was stolen.
People to basically lie to their husbands, which they are promoting, by the way. It is the embodiment of the downfall of the American family. I think it's so gross. I think it's so just nauseating, where this wife is wearing you'll show it, wearing the American hat. She's coming in with her sweet husband, who probably works his tail off to make sure that she can go, and have a nice life and provides for the family. And then she lies to him saying, oh yeah, I'm going to vote for Trump. And then she votes for Kamala Harris as her little secret in the voting booth.
I didn't even know there were men that still thought that women never faked anything.
If you've never seen the movie Weekend at Bernie's, pay attention. The movie's about these guys who are invited by their boss to stay the weekend at his posh beach house. Little do they know that Bernie, their boss, is the perpetrator of a fraud they've uncovered and is arranging to have them killed. When the plan backfires and Bernie's killed instead, the buddies decide not to let a little death spoil their vacation, so they keep Bernie alive, even though Bernie is dead. Now, substitute Donnie for Bernie, and you begin to understand Trump's inner circle.
Did you just see Maduro, Venezuela? It's unbelievable.
They know he's losing his mind and that he will stab them in the back if and when he doubts their loyalty. So they simply use him. From Miller to Hegseth to RFK Jr., who actually might be crazier than Man Titties himself.
That RFK said doctors found a worm in his brain that had eaten part of his brain and then died.
To Lindsey Graham, Rubio, Hawley, and the rest, they all know that Trump is mentally ill, so all they need to do is keep him happy while they pump and dump the market or accept money from the Chinese and Saudis. What I'm saying is they're using Trump like this idiot and his puppets.
He died like a dog.
He isn't losing it, it's gone. And the question is simple. Will anyone in this cabinet or MAGA stand up to his insanity? Goldwater stopped Nixon, Ron and Nancy Reagan watched over the Gipper, but who or what will stop Trump? Ooh, I like that.
It's not fair.
Terrorizing our communities.
Goddamn right.
Are your leaders incompetent, unqualified people compromising national security?
Yes, yes, yes.
Eating the dogs.
They had what?
Bloated and fat and disgusting.
I like that.
We're a nation that speaks English.
Back and look at something like this. That thing's dark ugly.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.